Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Monday here. So, well, today was an interesting day for sure. Bitcoin was up in the morning along with a lot of the miners. Miners were up like 18%, 15%, 13%, and then later on throughout the morning they started falling along with Bitcoin. So it was weird. I'll admit that it was a weird day. We were up much higher than where we ended up at. So we'll take a look at what's going on with the miners, Bitcoin as well. We'll also take a look at MicroStrategy's new playbook as far as getting more cash. We'll talk about that. We have a more update as well. And then what else do we have here? We'll look at the enterprise metrics of the miners and a bunch of good news stories for Bitcoin as well. And I think that should be it. Also, I don't know if you guys joined the space that was hosted by Quantum just about an hour ago. But I just found out that Matt was in a car accident last week, and he has some brain concussion. I'm hoping that he's doing well. Talked to him a little bit on the show. It looks like he's doing pretty good here, but prayers and thoughts are with him. So speedy recovery. We need him in this space. He is definitely one of the best out there as far as hosting these spaces and things like that out there. So definitely much love for him and his family there. Hope he does well here in the coming days. Other than that, let's get into this non-financial advice. We got to always do this. Not financial advice for anyone only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. As always, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin right now as it is. So Bitcoin is, it went down even lower today than it was yesterday, I think, at one point. But it came back up a little bit. This is on the daily chart that we're seeing here right now. Bitcoin was up at a high today of 119,745. We had a low of 116,565. So basically a $3,000 price swing on Bitcoin as it was. RSI is still looking pretty good here as it is right now. On it, it's below 70, which is fine. Bitcoin is up a little bit here on the new day. We did have quite a wild wick here just in about an hour ago. You can see this wick down here. We got to 116,185, bounced off of that. Is that our maybe bottom here a little bit? Maybe, maybe not. I was thinking we could go down to about 115,000 potentially. But we will see if that crosses. Right now, we're kind of bouncing back up a little bit at least. That's a good sign there. On the 15-minute chart, 4-hour chart is bouncing back up a little bit. We're down a little bit now, but still looking pretty good. And the 4-hour chart here is looking not too bad right now as it is. So we'll see where Bitcoin goes tomorrow here. Ethereum, I think, was also up a little bit here today. It was up to 3,000. Well, it's right now at 3,783, but it did close today at 3,763. It got to a high of 3,860 here, and it came back down like everything else here. So what the heck was going on with the market today? Well, I think it was a lot of market manipulation, to be honest with you guys. The big boys are not going to let this thing run quickly. They want to make sure that they get as much of Ethereum, Bitcoin, the miners as well before they do let it run here. And we also have a lot of shorts in the miners as well. I think that played into potentially Cleanspark, because Cleanspark was up like 4 or 5% on the day, and then it ended up being down 3% on the day. IREN was up huge today. Like I said, it was up 18%. We'll get into that in a second, but there was just a lot of manipulation, I think, going on right now. In it, they're putting the brakes on potential huge movements on Bitcoin and the miners and Ethereum as well. And even the Ethereum treasury companies today were way down as well. So that was kind of interesting to see that. Markets overall were kind of mixed today. Some were up. The NASDAQ was up a little bit here. S&P was up, and the Dow Jones was down, actually. Looking at Bitfarms, I think, was one of the best performers here today. Surprisingly enough, right? Bitfarms went up quite nicely here. It got to a high of $1.23, and it closed at $1.13. So it was nicely up there. It was like almost up 20% at one point, but then it came back down. So for Bitfarms, we're seeing, not only Bitfarms, we're seeing CIFR today as well do pretty good early on and then pull back, along with like Riot, IREN as well. Some of these guys that are getting, some AI, HPC plays on them, potential there. But that one did the best here. It was up 8.65% on the day, so that one was really nice. It could be also that Riot is maybe not selling as much right now as it is. They're down below 10% of ownership of Bitfarms there, as last reported last week. We'll see if they took a little bit of a break from selling the shares there. And maybe this is why the stock was able to run a little bit today as well. Plus, I think them being in Pennsylvania, and there's obviously a lot of talk of HPC data centers and things like that, and going on in Pennsylvania right now with a huge investment. What is it, like 70 or 80 billion dollars going in that state for data centers? They might be riding that wave a little bit as well. Next, we have BitDeer here. BitDeer was up a lot more again, like everybody else here. It got to a high of $15.17, pulled back down, closed at $13.75. Huge swing on that one. Cango was just pretty much down all day. It was down 5.45% on the day. It just, whenever it started out in the morning, it just kept going down. CIFR was up much higher, right? It got up to 684, closed at 625 here, so it was down 1.73%. Cleanspark, same thing with them. They were up higher before falling back down. They were down 3.05%. CORZ was down 0.6%. That one was a little bit higher and then came back down. Hive was up much higher from where it ended up at. It ended up being up 17.9%, and it was up to a high of 248, and it closed at 227. Hut 8 was also higher, then closed lower, 1.3% down on the day. IREN, check out this candle here. This is wild. It got up to 2154 here. This is a new 52-week high for them. And then things started going down south quickly. For them, they closed only being up 1.17%. But man, that is a huge swing on them. It was basically $3.40 roughly in just in this price swing on it alone. Mara was down today 3.49% after being up a little bit. Riot was up 1.15% after having a huge spike as well, right? You saw that similar to IREN as well. And then Wolf was down 2.73%. It was up a little bit higher as well before coming back down on this. So somebody is trying to get us to liquidate our shares, and that someone is probably the big money, smart money, whatever you want to call it. They're trying to have you liquidate your shares. So don't let them do that. We are still going to be going up much higher. I believe in these guys here in the next 5-6 months or something like that as we continue to progress. MicroStrategy was up a little bit today, 0.72% on the day. Galaxy was up a little bit as well, 0.94%. XYZ. Block Inc. was up 7.2%. Had a nice run up there today. Coin was down a little bit, 1.4%. MetaPlanet was down 9.75%. This thing is continuing to go down, surprisingly, even though they're buying more Bitcoin. Exodus was down 11.78%. Semler was down 3.81%. The blockchain group was down 7.5%. So even the Bitcoin holding companies, Bitcoin treasury companies were down as well. And this is Phoenix Digital Assets was down 6.14%. GME was actually up 3.95%. Small miners were mixed. Any was up a little bit. Argo was down 19%, pulling back from where it had a nice run up here on Friday. Digi Power now was down 0.54%. DMG was up a little bit, 3.48%. Mawson was down up 1.4%, and then Canon was down 9.63%. Surprisingly, giving back a lot of the gains that it had here over the last couple of days. Bitcoin ETF miners, ETFs for those guys were in the green in the morning hours. They were up like 4 or 5%, which was nice to see. And then they pulled all back as Bitcoin price came down as well. And then the Ethereum holding companies, BitDigital was down quite a bit here today. It was down 13.54%. It's having a 2-day losing streak here right now as it is. BTCS was down today as well, 5.94%. BMNR was down 6.56%. Game was down 3.95%. And SBET was down 12.89%. So we're definitely seeing a pullback on those companies as well here. So we'll see if they can bounce back up here as time progresses. Bitcoin dominance is way down, 60% right now as it is. We got to a high of 66% on it here recently within the last probably month or so. Excuse me. Allergies are trying to kick in on me again. Hopefully I don't go into a sneezing spat here on that. But right now, yeah, I mean, dominance is going out. So we could be seeing some trading out of Bitcoin into these Ethereum companies and into Ethereum itself. And we'll see how long that lasts. This is not the lowest we've been here this time. We've been even actually lower here. We got down to like 54% here. This was back in December of last year when we saw that happen here. So we do have these kind of pullbacks a little bit, and then we go back up as we get a rotation back and forth between the different assets there. All right. So there's that. Miners right now in the after hours or pre-hours, whatever you want to call it. BitDeer is up just a little bit, 0.36%. Bitfarms is up 2.64%, even more. So that's nice there. Cango is up 0.6%. CIFR is up just almost 1%. Cleanspark is up 0.75% roughly. Core is flat, no gains there. Hive is down 0.4%. And then we got Hut 8 is down just barely 0.09%. IREN is actually up 2.26% again in the after hours. Mara is up just a little bit, 0.25%. Riot is up let's see where it ends up at. 2%. Going up, going down. Where's it at? Probably should refresh that. Okay, we're up 1.85% on Riot. TerraWolf is up 2% right now as it is. And Bitcoin for the month of July is still up 9.55%. We still have basically 10 more days of trading before we call it a day for July. So we're still up in the green, which is nice. We've had a nice 4 months of green here this year so far. And that kind of coincides with 2017 here. If you look at that one, you had April, May, June, July in the green, as well as August. August was actually a really good month in 2017. We were up 65%. 2021 was a different animal altogether. We were actually down in May and June. Why were we down at that point? Well, we had China banned Bitcoin mining, right? That played into it, where people were freaked out and they were selling Bitcoin and all that stuff. And then if we look at 2013, that was a different player as well, but we had still July and August up in the green here as well. Bitcoin ETF inflows here for, as of today, we're negative 131 million. We'll see where BlackRock comes in. We'll see if we can continue to have a positive inflow on that or not. I would imagine so, but we'll see tomorrow on that one. And then some of the bullish Bitcoin news stories that we do have here. This is just in from SEC Chair, says U.S. government has given Bitcoin and crypto a stamp of approval, right? In the long run, we're going to do much better than where we are right now, but it's just going to take us a little while to possibly get there, right? I still think that this next 3 to 6 months are going to be really, really good for us, historically at least speaking. So I'm going by that, plus the amount of adoption that we're seeing here. And talking about adoption here, Strategy has acquired 6,220 Bitcoin for $739.8 million at an average price of $118,940 per Bitcoin, and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 20.8% year to date. And they hodl right now 607,770 Bitcoin, acquired for $43.61 billion at $71,756 per Bitcoin as it is. Sorry, I had to blow my nose really quick. So yeah, Strategy keeps hodling, right? And we actually have a story on them as well. We'll get into that here in a second, where they're going to be buying even more Bitcoin, and they're doing another round of financing there. Next here, Trump Media buys $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related securities. So this is what they have bought and all, right? Trump Media is continuing to buy. So if you think the president is buying it and his companies are buying it, you know it's going to be a good thing for us going in the future here. But Bitcoin definitely price is going to be going up here, because they're going to be pro-Bitcoin. They're going to do everything they can to pump Bitcoin and pump their own bags as it is. So we'll benefit on that as well. Next year, the Great Bitcoin Stack, 64 public firms now hold over 100 billion in Bitcoin. And here are the companies listed down here. Obviously, MicroStrategy, or Strategy now, has the most, 607,000 there. Marathon, far second to them with 50,000, probably 50,000 plus right now. And then XXI is at 37,230, followed by Riot at 19,000, the Metaplanet at 16,000, Galaxy at 12,830, Cleanspark at 12,500, Tesla at 509, the Hut 8, 10,273. So you can see everybody else down below that as well. So there's definitely a lot of companies, well, quite a few companies that own, you know, close to 100,000 in Bitcoin, or more than that actually. We're talking about probably close to, 800,000 Bitcoin, if you count all these guys up together, roughly like that. That's a lot of Bitcoin that's being held by these guys here right now. All right. And then now Strategy here reveals another stock offering to boost 71 billion Bitcoin stash. They are doing something a little bit different on this one here. Investors will be able to buy the stock in an initial dividend rate of 9%. Strategy said it plans to sell 5 million shares at $100 each for a total of 500 million. Excuse me. So they're just continuing to add these kind of vehicles in order for them to be able to stack more Bitcoin going forward. Going down here, SDRC, this is what the new ticker is going to be, is different to the other financial instruments, as it will pay a variable monthly dividend, not a fixed one. Not sure how that's being calculated there, but Strategy intends to use the net proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes, including the acquisition of Bitcoin and working capital, the firm said. On the space that I was on before with the quantum space guys and gals there, they had a nice conversation about this actually. And from what I understood is that Strategy, the way that they're going to be paying out the dividends is through basically giving out shares more or less, or selling shares at that point and being able to do it that way. So kind of interesting, right? This kind of wheel that he has developed here in order to use basically cash dollars in order to stack his hodl of Bitcoin, right? So that's great news there, because they're going to be buying more Bitcoin as it is. So love seeing that. And then lastly, but not least, we got Mara here. Mara scheduling their conference call for second quarter of 2025. They are going to be now the earliest one to report as of right now. So their conference call is going to be on Tuesday, July 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to discuss financial results for the quarter ended June 30th, 2025. And the financial results will be published in shareholder letter prior to the call on the investor relations section of the company's website. So we'll have all that data coming out on July 29th. The other one that's reporting this month is going to be also Riot. Riot is reporting the 31st, I believe it is. So we are getting close to those probably next week, right? Next week, those are going to be getting reported here. So we'll definitely cover them at that point. Mara should have a nice EPS number because of all the hodl that they have and the impact the FSB has had on them. That should give them a nice boost on the EPS there. But my big question is how close do they get to at least breaking even? Or maybe, I don't know if they're going to be able to be slightly positive on EPS without the hodl being in play there right now as it is. All right. So that's it for that one. We're going to take a quick look at the enterprise metrics here for the miners here really quick. I updated this right now with the latest prices that we do have here and the Bitcoin that were mined in June for them. So we can see your current hash rate based on where they are right now, future hash rate as well. On that one, we can see here that Hive right now is getting valued at 31 million per exahash or petahash, however you want to look at it. I think it is per petahash, or sorry, per exahash. Cleanspark is being valued at 54 million per exahash, Marathon 56, IREN 83 million now, Riot 89 million, CIFR 135 million, and BitTBT 164, and CORZ is being valued on the buyout and the HPCI potential there, 266 million, right? So that one should be probably taken out, and I would think. And then if you look at future hash rate growth here, Hive actually goes down to 22 million per exahash there. Cleanspark at 47, Marathon at 55. Probably should be even lower than that because they're getting to 75, but I just don't know what miners they have getting bought up. I'm guessing they're going to be probably the Aurodine miners, I'm guessing, but I don't know. BitTBT is going to have more growth as well. They probably should come down. Well, actually, I do have them added on, so they're quite lower for future hash rate, right, compared to 164 million here. For current, future is going down to 66 million, so that is being accounted there. IREN, 83 million right now. They're going to be at where they are, basically. They're at 50 exahash. No further plans to grow this year. Riot is at 92, so that's up a little bit here from where they were. CIFR, 149 million. CORZ, 160 million at that point. And then we look at the enterprise per BTC mined here for the month of June. We can see that Hive is getting only 2.15 million per Bitcoin mined in their enterprise value there. Cleanspark, 3.97 million. Marathon, 4.57. Even those two guys mined like the most there as it is. IREN now is at 6.6 million per Bitcoin mine. They're also way up there in production-wise, 620. Whereas you have like Riot, 450 Bitcoin. They're only at they're higher than those guys at 7.04 million. Right, make it make sense. BitTBT, same thing, 203 Bitcoin, but they're being valued at 13.32 million per Bitcoin mine. CIFR, 160 Bitcoin mine. They're being valued at 14.21 per Bitcoin mine. CORZ, obviously, that's HPCI play. That's kind of why that one is the way it is. And then enterprise value overall, this is the enterprise value for these guys here. CORZ, I think IREN reached, it went up to like 5 billion a day before it came back down. So it would have overtaken CORZ actually on the valuation there, on enterprise value at least. But CORZ was at 4.8 billion. IREN at 4.1 right now. Marathon at 3.2. Riot at 3.1. Cleanspark 2.7 along with BitTBT, and then CIFR 2.2, and poor little Hive there at 352 million as it is on it. All right. So that is it. We'll see where we end up later on this week with these guys. Hopefully we'll have a better day tomorrow than what we had today. And yeah, we'll see where we end up at. And Taj wants me to put up a poll. Let me know what you want me to put a poll up. We'll definitely do one on anything you guys want. Also, I think that's it. As always, Patreon members, thank you to all your support there along with YouTube members. But Patreon members do get access to my spreadsheets. I will get this updated for you guys tomorrow. And if you want to become a Patreon member, a link for that is down in the description. A couple bucks a month. You help support what I do. Plus, you get access to the spreadsheets and to our private Discord server, which now pulls in through AI a lot of the Bitcoin mining channels, along with Bitcoin channels as well, automatically for you guys, so you guys can see that in there. There's a feed of that happening as it comes in, along with we're pulling in SEC filings for all these miners automatically, and we're also pulling in articles for Bitcoin and these Bitcoin miners as well, automatically as well. So all through the power of automation and AI. That was a fun thing to do over the weekend. Learn how to do that. I think there's going to be a definitely need for that in the future. People that understand how this stuff all works. So kind of nice process to learn that as well. But that is it. So let's get into your guys' Q&A here. We'll call it a day before I start sneezing my head off here. All right, let's go here. Let's see what we got going on here with everything in the questions. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a question mark, I would appreciate it. And I see Matt is in his in here as well, Matt Case. Hopefully he's in his PJs, all comfy and resting and recuperating from his accident there. Wish you all the best, Matt. Truly do want you to recover as fast as possible. We don't need to lose another great person in this space. So definitely take care of yourself there. All right, what do we got here? All right, Tree Sprinkle asks, Sebastian, how can the shorts consistently attack IREN Bitcoin and be able to pull them down? They have their ways, right? They have a lot more capital than we do as it is as retail, so they can definitely put a little bit more strain on it than we would like to see, right? But eventually they will give up, I think. It's just a matter of when. In the meantime, if they think they can pull it down, if things get a little overheated, they're going to run it down a little bit, right? So if they're like IREN today, went up almost 20%, right? If they can feel and think that they can bring it down, they're going to try and bring it down and make some money on the way down. And that's what they did. All right. Scorched Earth, Zach acting, what's going on with Riot? Is it finally getting some overdue love this cycle? It's getting some love, but for the HPCI reasons, not for their Bitcoin mining prowess. Right? We'll have to wait and see what their Bitcoin numbers are like for July here, right? June were actually pretty good, I believe. They were down a little bit from May, but not much, from what I recall here. So, yeah, I think they're finally getting some love, but I think it's for the HPCI play. All right, Tree Sprinkle, with the daily buying of Bitcoin, why hasn't it taken off already? You still have a lot of people that are, I read a story today that somebody that bought Bitcoin, like 50-some thousand Bitcoin back in 2014, they're up like a couple $1 billion or something like that on it. So, you know, they sold quite a lot there. So you still have these types of people that got into it early and are, you know, looking at their wallets going, well, I could hold on to it for Bitcoin to get to, you know, 2 million or 200,000, or I could just take my millions that I have now, life-changing event, you know, buy a house, buy another house, whatever, buy a boat if I wanted to. So you still have those people that are in this that are the ones selling, and that's the reason why I think. It's going to be a while while we shake these people out, I think. But eventually, you know, people that bought in at Bitcoin at 10,000 and higher, I would say, those guys and gals are probably going to hold on to it for a little bit longer to get a better bang for their buck. But people that got into it at $100 and less, right, they're up huge right now as it is. Let's see here. BLM says, I sold IREN when it shot up and made 15,000, but since I'm so highly invested in Cleanspark, that negated all my IREN profits. Cleanspark is trash. Cleanspark is not trash. It's just, give it time. Give it some. It's done pretty nicely here this year already as it is. Maybe not as nicely as IREN has, but give it time. I think as Bitcoin goes up, things will improve. Sadie, thank you so much as always. Free stream with every like. Yeah, then I'm already in deficit for you guys. I'll be doing live streams until I'm late in the grave already. Let's see here. But thank you as always. Let's see, sorry, Mara's all-in cost. All-in cost, if you're looking at also depreciation and share-based compensation, you're probably looking at, oh my gosh, let me see if I have break-even cost for these guys. This is as of Q1. I don't have the latest numbers for Q2, obviously. But Mara, without share-based compensation, was around like 80,000 at that point. And I'm trying to see if it also includes, I don't think it also includes depreciation in there as well. So if you include that, they're probably even higher at that point. But that's where I'm at Q1 roughly, right within, give or take, 10% of that. All right, let's go back here. Yeah, I think you pretty much answered your own. Mara's on cost is pretty high, yep. All right, CG says, look at this info. Why are we not buying Hive like crazy? Again, right, for them, I think the big drawback, or maybe some of the things that investors are not happy with, maybe, is not being based in, well, not being, one, based in the United States. They do have an office in Antonio, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, I believe, or something like that, for reporting purposes. But other than that, they don't have any operations in the United States. I think that might be something that some investors, are not too keen on. They would like to probably see that. And then they have operations in Canada, up towards Greenland, Iceland, Finland, I think, in those areas, and along with operations in Paraguay and Argentina as well. So there's some risk to being out in those areas, at least in the southern areas. All right, John says Bitcoin's price needs to stay above 150,000 for the total crypto stock market to run, even if dominance is down. I would agree with you there. I think 115,000 is kind of like our next possible support there. We need to hold that. Fire Dream says, going to be hilarious when Cleanspark #1 BTC mined for July and takes Mara crown. Yeah, I've been watching Mara. Their production is kind of down here. I'd have to run the numbers here to see where they are right now, but it does seem to be down from where it probably should be. Matt, thank you so much, as always. Great show for you guys tonight as well. Yeah, Tosh says, get well soon, Matt. I definitely agree with that. All right. Fire X Freak says Bitfarms is up 6% after our market. I don't think your screen was updated. Don't think it means much as it can in the morning. No, I agree. We just like to look at it here more or less, see what's going on with it. Let's see, what did I have them at? Bitfarms. What did I? Oh, mine was saying 2.64%. Let me see. Probably needs to get updated here. Yeah, you're right. So mine was off by a couple percentage points. So yeah, it is doing even better overnight. All right, Guy, there's a question here. Do you really still believe BTC will go to 150,000 or 125,000 was the top? And what about Cleanspark? Not sure if Cleanspark can even reach $18. No, I still believe that Bitcoin will get to a minimum 150,000 this year, possibly higher. We could get up to close to 200,000 depending on just, does the Fed lower rates? I think when the Fed does lower rates, possibly in September, that might be a good shot of adrenaline in Bitcoin basically at that point. And we could definitely see it run quite nicely here. So I still think 150 to 200,000 is possible this year. Also, I don't think that 125,000 was the top. There's just too much accumulation happening by not only MicroStrategy, other companies that are buying Bitcoin, other companies that are entering the space as well. And then you got, states possibly doing it. You got the United States possibly doing it down the road, and other countries as well. You got banks now being able to put it on their accounts and things like that. There's just too much adoption happening for it to be the top here. Then yeah, as far as Cleanspark here, Cleanspark has been battling with this range of trying to get above $13 for, gosh, now how many days has it been? Let's take a look at it here really quick. Cleanspark, here you can see, all right, let's take a look at the screen here. You can see that this thing has been battling with like the $13 range, and it's not able to close above it here for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days out of the last 7. It's been trying to battle with that, so it does seem like there's something fishy going on there that it can't break above it. So eventually I think it will break through, but we need it to break through and basically close above it, right? If we can do that, then I think we're going to go up higher from it. But right now, it's definitely trading sideways here on us right now. All right, go back here. Okay. Mikey 0077 said, what happened exactly with IREN today? Just a fake out. What are the perks of this new ceiling for you? I think it is just a fake out. We know that IREN does have quite a bit of shorts in them as well. Not as high as, let me see, what's the latest short data that we have on them? Just so I don't talk out of my rear end here. Let me see, shorted, there it is. Let's take a look at the shorted screen here. So yeah, IREN's at 14% last time reported. This was as of the end of June numbers June numbers. So we should get an update as far as the shorts are concerned for July 15th. Data should be coming out probably next week. And we'll see where that is. But yeah, 14% shorted there. And you can see obviously BitDeer, Marathon, Cleanspark, Riot, along with CIFR and CORZ being 20% or more shorted as it is right now. So I think it was just some shenanigans with that on that one, unfortunately. But it wasn't, it was great to see it go up 18% at one point, and then it was kind of saddening to see it go back down. I'm sure for many of you guys. Let's see. Dynamite Uber question. Hey Seb, did you talk about Kathy Woods buying 4.4 million shares of Timely's BMNR? I did not. I did not see that, so I missed that one. We're talking about it right now. So yeah, Timely BMNR, but even BMNR didn't do too well today. BMNR was down 6.56%. Here's a chart on that one. You can see it here. Had a huge peak, $161 when the announcement came out that Timely's joining them. And then it came back down, up, and it's been down. It's been kind of going flat here for a while. So even on the news on that one, didn't seem to spike it up much. All right, let's see here. What's your dollar cost average? Asks this guy. My dollar cost average is $6 something in Cleanspark. I'm up 130. Well, today I was up 38%. So right around $6 something on that one. Low sixes. John, thank you so much for gifts of the thumbs up. Angie, because a question here, hi Seb, do you recall how Bitcoin miners typically perform during altcoin season? A lot of people are starting to prep for it, and I'm curious how the shift usually impacts miner stocks. Thanks. That I don't know because I don't track the altcoins, so I really don't know how that. If there's any correlation between the two, right? If the altcoins pump, do the miners pump also, or do the miners go down? That I don't know. All right. Neville says Bitfarms is most definitely not going to miss out on the party that'll occur in Q4. They'll definitely be attending it. It's how they are able to carry on in 2026 that worries me. I think they'll be okay in 2026. Right? Depends on where Bitcoin continues to go up. They'll be fine. Right? And also, can they actually get a deal for one of their sites in Pennsylvania for HPCI? I don't see a problem with them continuing on here. To be honest with you guys. They do have a line of credit or a loan basically for $350 million total. They got the first $50 million of that right now to kind of build towards their HPCI goals. So I'm not worried about them right now. And especially if they can get Riot off their backs by the end of the year here, hopefully by September or something like that, that would be great as well. All right, let me see here. Neville says, I'm starting to agree with you that we may have an extended cycle on our hands in 2026. Most of the rate cuts we expected will likely come next year, and then even more cuts will come right after. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the rate cuts that are going to extend the cycle. I think it's just the adoption that we're seeing here, right? So, I'm like a strong believer that we're going to have an extended cycle here, unless there's a black swan event, something, who knows, that nukes basically Bitcoin price going down, which I don't foresee happening. All right. Let's see. Turd Ferguson asks, have you heard of Semler Scientific? Yes, we talked about them plenty of times here. Semler Scientific is also one of those companies that is doing the Bitcoin HODL treasury, right? So we talked about them as well. They are in my list as well that I check every day to see what's going on with them. And let's see here, where were they at today? Semler was actually down 3.1% today on the news as well. So, right, they're kind of following Bitcoin here a little bit right now as it is. All right. Let's see. I think that is it for the questions here. So I think we're going to call it a day. Yeah, we'll call it a day. So greatly appreciate you guys coming in as always. We'll see where we end up tomorrow with Bitcoin miners and everything else. See if there's any more bullish news stories, which I believe there's going to be. There's always something happening with Bitcoin in one part of the world or another, where another company's getting stuff into Bitcoin HODL or Bitcoin strategy or whatever it might be. And then we also have just continuation of adoption happening here, which is fantastic to see. So that is it. Thank you so much as always. Love you all. I hope you guys have a great week ahead. We'll see where we end up at, and we'll discuss it as always. All right. See you guys then. Have a great night.